Angela Rye talks about an inappropriate, lewd text message she got from Chris Cuomo while he was at CNN. She was later canned, let go, and she believes it was connected to her making an issue about the text. She went on the podcast. Here's what she said.
I've never publicly shared this, but it is my truth and it is the time. So just 10 days prior to receiving that call on January 21st, the darling of the network and one of the most influential hosts during Jeff Zucker's tenure was texting me about a segment idea he had for his primetime show. Chris Cuomo was suddenly excited about a prominent and regular role for me where I would check the left. Truthfully, I had my doubts on the genuine nature of this idea. Our on-air conversations and chemistry became something viewers look forward to. But Cuomo came up with this particular segment idea after a text exchange that went woefully wrong. I need this, I thought. A network exec had already told me they didn't see me as a host, despite my hosting a very successful podcast and hosting award-winning news specials on BET. This was my chance to prove them wrong. Can't I just ignore this indiscretion? It all began on New Year's Day when I posted a picture of myself looking forward to the new year in a gold sequin bikini on Instagram. Cuomo screenshot the image and said, "Happy New Year, tinsel crotch." Stunned, I read and reread the message a dozen times, trying to understand. If I somehow brought this on myself, since whatever you post on social is fair game, right? I teared up, like now, then the tears flowed. I felt like the safest place I had on a show on CNN had been compromised. I ignored it, just hoping it would go away. Or even more, did I imagine this? But I didn't. A few hours later, he said hello. I didn't respond for 2 more days, despite his plea the next day to call because he wanted to discuss work. I tried to punt until after the Georgia runoffs, asking a week later if he still wanted to discuss his work idea, despite him mentioning tinsel bikini and tinsel bottom along the way. As I think about this, it feels so small compared to what other women in the workplace experience. But I was afraid to speak up. Between New Year's and my follow-up, an insurrection happened on Capitol Hill where I feared I would lose loved ones. I felt like if I called him out, I was risking everything I was finally starting to build with the network. And as someone who is known for being courageous, I cannot begin to tell you how much I felt like, even now feel like a coward. In 10 short days, I felt like what was a clear ride to the promised land turned into quicksand. Even upon receiving the call about my contract not being renewed, I was talking to another network about a big opportunity and feared I would lose that work. And most importantly, the ability to reach the audiences I love in such a critical time.
I have nothing but respect for Angela Rye. Put up the picture for Mass. You know, we take people through so much sometimes. She said something that was really powerful during this podcast, and this podcast was Native Land Podcast, Andrew Gillum. She said this was her trusted place. That Cuomo, that show, him, the way he ran things, this was her trusted place. Rye spoke about this exchange on January 12th. She detailed the after effects of calling Cuomo out for his egregious comments and why she believes it led to her eventual firing. Here's the picture that he decided to screenshot and send to her, allegedly with the message, "Happy New Year, tinsel crotch." Under what context can that be appropriate? None. None. When Cuomo was originally suspended from CNN, I had his back because he was suspended for helping his brother, a violation of his whatever rules at CNN. I understand. I would have looked at you different if you did not help your brother. Okay? But this, totally different situation. I'm not sure if the guy was drunk, it was around New Year's, but none of that matters. None of that matters. What he did was inappropriate. For those who are pushing back, say it's not a big deal. What if he would have texted you, Happy New Year, tinsel crotch? How would you feel? There's more. More details. Approximately 10 days later, all right, after this took place, on January 21st, 2021, Rye says she was contacted by CNN execs who then informed her that her contract would not be renewed and that CNN, right after January 6th, and a historical election where we got our first ever Black VP, who was a woman and Rye's friend, would be focusing more on COVID. She has access. She's already well loved by the network. It did not make sense to let her go. And then they said, well, we're going to focus on COVID more and less on politics. COVID was all political. COVID was all political, meaning the political connections to COVID could not be dismissed in talking about COVID. There's more. However, Rye is not buying CNN's COVID excuse and suspects her negative reaction to Cuomo's advance might have prompted him to say something to the higher ups at the network. Quote, I knew it was a lie, and it was confirmed when 2 Black women were hired for half my contributor rate right after, she said. Cuomo reaching out to Rye. So Rye says that Cuomo audaciously reached out to her last year to check her temperature and see if she was upset with him. Quote, I was, but I was really mad at myself, she said. I was mad at myself for not saying anything sooner because I was lacking courage and preferring my financial well-being over my mental health, not standing up for women who are often left, powerless in these situations. Rye went on to say, quote, I was mad at myself for protecting your image with the Black women I know who loved you and look forward to hearing your voice. I know I'm not the only one. And truthfully, I'm mad about that too, that everyone has given you a pass for fear of what it might mean to hold you accountable for clearly inappropriate behavior and overstepping. This is not the first round of allegations against Cuomo. So after the brother thing came out, other people came out, and he actually admitted to at least one of them many years ago, admitted to one, said, I'm sorry, I was wrong. All right, there's more. Rock continues, quote, I was mad at myself for shrinking in the face of power when people depend on me to stand up, to speak up. This was harder for me because we were legitimately cool. We had a great rapport. And I was worried about damaging a friendship and a working relationship that you had actually damaged. I tried to redirect you repeatedly, and you abused the grace you never deserved. Rye then shared one final closing message to Cuomo, quote, so no, Chris, I won't be a guest on your program now or later. Thank you for the platform. It was not worth all of the mental and emotional turmoil. And I thank God that I'm clear about the fact that you can't take away a voice you never created. You or the network executives who enabled you. Well said. Well said. I believe Angela Rye. Let me go ahead and say that on the record. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that she's telling the exact truth. And the reality is what she has done took significant courage because she understands the othering effect that takes place by those who simply would rather protect that culture than eradicate it. Sharon, thoughts here?
I love this powerful, brilliant queen. I too know she's telling the truth. Want to know why? Because I'm a Black woman.
Yeah.
Her story is my story. Chris Cuomo was great at TV. I found him to be a natural, but that does not escape the fact that he's also a sophomoric brat and the son of a dearly departed governor who I had great respect for. The only thing I will take issue with, this beautiful queen. Don't you dare, Angela Rye, don't you dare be ashamed or regretful about not speaking up sooner, because we get it. He tried to take away your livelihood. He tried to end you because, of course, the fact that you live in this beautiful shell and dare post a gorgeous bikini pic means you're his. A white man's for the taking. It's historic. Don't you dare, Queen, not even for a second, put your head down. Maybe we will get a text or something in Discovery. I'll end with this, Dr. Richey, because Chris Cuomo's still suing CNN for his ouster.
That's right.
He, at one time, was great buddies with Jeff Zucker, who this occurred on his watch. And I have no doubt that if evidence exists, it'll come out in the Discovery.
That's right. He is still locked in litigation with CNN.